Current is another way of saying a flow of electricity. Current means a flow of electricity. Current is measured in a thing called amperes or amps. Now, regarding this SP500 electricity machine, if you build it and you're trying to find out how many amps the thing produces, from what I understand, you can't just say, okay, we're going to stick a current gauge and find out how much amps this thing produces. You just can't stick it over a couple wires that are not hooked up to anything. You actually have to have the wires connected to something which is obtaining electricity from the coiled disc, of the electricity machine. So if someone runs this electricity machine and hooks up a 100-watt light bulb to it, and then they stick a current gauge over those wires that are going to the light bulb, and says, I'm only getting a small amount of current. I'm only measuring this amount of amps. And therefore, this is the maximum amps this machine's producing. What it's actually saying is this is how many amps you're using to light that light bulb. That's what that gauge is saying. What you do is you take two light bulbs and connect them to that coil disc, and then take the current gauge and measure the wires again. You'll find that it's double the amps. Double the flow of electricity. Now, I do believe that there is a limit that the electricity machine, the coil disc part of it, there's a limit of how many amps can be obtained from the coil disc. But you'll have to find out by plugging things into it and then taking your current gauge and testing how much current is being taken when you have all those things hooked up to it. You can also easily find out how much watts is being used by just looking at the items you hooked up to it and say, okay, this one uses 100 watts, this one uses 1200 watts, or whatever. This uses 9 watts. Now, I'm not saying this SP500 electricity machine works like it's stated to work. I'm just saying that if you have one light bulb hooked up to it, or something hooked up to it, and then you stick a current gauge and say, oh, this machine's only producing this amount of current. The gauge only measures how much current is being used. That's what the gauge measures, from what I understand. You can check it up on the internet if you disagree. The reason why I'm putting this up here is because I'm trying to bring about an understanding to people about the machine from what I understand, so it can be easier for someone who's actually trying to make one, and to see what they think will happen.